Are you struggling with two-way binding in Angular, especially when it comes to the disabled property? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into a common issue that many developers face. I totally get it. It can be incredibly frustrating when your input fields don't behave as expected. If you've ever found that your disabled property isn't updating correctly, you're in the right place. Here's the specific question we're addressing. One user asked, "Why isn't my disabled property updating when I change the dependent input value?" They provided a code snippet that shows their setup. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So, what's happening here? The user's model is changing correctly, but the disabled property isn't reflecting those changes. This is a common pitfall in Angular, and understanding the binding process is key to resolving it. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand how to fix this issue, but also gain insights into Angular's binding mechanics that will make you a better developer. To address the issue with the disabled property not updating, the user should ensure that the isDisabled variable is being updated correctly in the component. This means checking that the ngModelChange event is properly set up. Next, the user should verify that the isDisabled variable is a Boolean value. This is crucial because the disabled property expects a Boolean to determine whether the input should be disabled or not. Now, the user should check the template to ensure that the binding for the disabled property is correctly set up. The user should confirm that the syntax is correct and that there are no typos. Finally, the user should test the application to see if the changes take effect. They can do this by interacting with the select input and observing if the disabled state updates as expected. Fun fact, did you know that Angular was developed by Google? It's a powerful framework that can sometimes feel like a puzzle, but once you get the pieces in place, it all comes together beautifully. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution suggests adding a name attribute to the input and using two-way binding with ngModel. This approach eliminates the need for ngModelChange. For the second select input, bind user input with ngModel and set the disabled property based on isDisabled. This ensures the disabled state updates correctly. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. An alternative solution suggests that the issue arises from using the same value, 0, for both options. To fix this, change the values to 1 and 0. However, even with this change, the values are stored as strings, which can cause problems. The user recommends using the ngValue attribute instead of value to correctly bind the data type. For a practical demonstration, check out the provided Plunker demo link. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. An alternative approach suggests that the issue arises because both option values are set to 0. To fix this, ensure one option is true and the other is false. In the component, define a variable called myVar and set it to false. Then use this variable to control the disabled property of the second select element. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. An alternative approach suggests using true and false values for the disabled property. This method simplifies your function comparator and allows for direct two-way binding. Then, you can use the isDisabled variable to control the disabled state of another select input. This ensures that the changes are reflected correctly. Here's a pro tip. Always ensure that your data types match when binding in Angular. This simple practice can save you a lot of headaches down the road. And there you have it. With these steps, your two-way binding with the disabled property should work perfectly. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks on Angular development.